Chairman of the Augusta Land Bank Authority, and I welcome you to the May monthly meeting of the Land Bank. I'm going to do what we typically do, and that is make sure everybody knows who they're here in the meeting with. I ask that you give your name and what your business or organization affiliation is. I'm going to start with Ms. Jones up front.
Kimar Jones, Augusta Land Bank.
Sean Evans, Augusta Land Bank.
Your Gaines Capital Investments.
Carla Delaney, Planning and Development.
Scott Roundtree with the Tax Assessor's Office.
John Manton, Attorney, Land Bank.
Brian Downs, Land Bank Board. Charles Williams, Richland County Tax Office.
Scott Hudson, the Adjustment Press.
And both Mrs. Delaney and Mr. Roundtree are board members along with myself and Mr. Jones. Okay, first item is to approve the minutes from the March 5th meeting. Ms. Jones sent those out earlier, but if you have not had a chance to look, board members, please take a look and see if there are any needed changes to the March 5th minutes. If not, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Scott Roundtree and has been properly seconded by Ms. Carla Delaney to accept the meeting minutes from March 5th. All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposers, nay. We have somebody joining us. No, that maybe that was you. That was you. Just popped up on the screen. That was you. Before I go into the section 2, this is a sad day for me and for the board because it is our long-term board member, Ms. Carla Delaney's last meeting. Ms. Delaney will be leaving and going to what I pray is greener pastures. And so we certainly wish her well in her future endeavors. But more importantly, we want her to know not only how much we have appreciated her, but also that we will certainly miss her. And so if you would join me in giving Ms. Delaney a round of applause, I certainly appreciate it. And because she's already told me she got some stuff she needs to do, I'm not going to ask her to give a speech unless we finish in enough time and she can tell us whatever's on her heart. Item number 2B, approve request from Capital W. Harmony LLC to purchase land bank parcel located at 1625 Old Savannah Road. Ms. Jones.
So this is the parcel that you're seeing on your screen. It is zoned R2. This is a customer that has worked with us before, and they are looking to build a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home for sale. They've already, in your package, you'll be able to see their timeline, their estimated cost, and their estimated sales price. They already have a realtor that they are working with. They have paid their fee of $6,000, and then they are looking to negotiate this assessed value down to $2,000 to pay at closing instead of the $2,200. So total sales price would be $8,000.
Okay. Questions, comments, board?
This vacant lot, how long has it been in the land?
How long has it been in the land bank? Since 2021.
And how was the property cleared?
How was it what?
Cleared, there was a structure there at some point.
I believe the city demolished it. Give me 1 second.
event that there is a lien on a property held by the city, which would be revealed through title work performed by the attorney. We'd have to go back to the client in order to ask about the position on that lien. Not knowing the exact amount of it at this time, it may be something that Mr. Harmon is willing to absorb in his project, and maybe something that he requests the board to have forgiven. So we gotta find out the exact amount of what that lien holding is.
So I did reach out to, code enforcement to see if there were any liens, and the only thing that came up was a code enforcement legacy fee. And it's on the price sheet too, under lot cleanup fee. It's under the $1,500 department fee. That's the amount of it. That's the only thing that came up.
Did they give a reason for the $200 price adjustment?
No, I think just negotiating.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve it at the current fee rate, which is listed. I don't agree with removing the $339.61 in cleanup fees.
I'll second that.
So what would that take it to with the 339?
$8,339.61. That's at the price that he wants to pay. If you want to do $2,200 instead of $2,000 for it.
Under the current fees, it doesn't total the same, so
Okay, so just for clarity, Mrs. Delaney, you are stating that you want to make a motion to approve for the fair market value in full plus the fee. Gotcha. So that would be for a total price of $8,539.61. So that would be the counter back from the board with a second. Did we have a second?
Yeah, we have a second. So, motion has been made by Ms. Carla Delaney to approve the sale, including the assessed value, plus the cleanup fees, totaling, what's that, Sean,
61.
61. It has been properly seconded by Mr. Ryan Downs. All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposers, nay. And that will serve essentially as a counter offer for the buyer to come back to us.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, in the event that the client does accept the counter, the board needs no further motion.
That's correct.
Got it.
And then, of course, the opposite is, if they make the counter to the counter, then it will come back to us.
Yes, sir.
All right, moving on to, and we also are joined by, for those who, this is their first time here, we have our other board member, Ms. Carrie Gordon, better known as the Empress. That's it, Empress of Cool, I'm sorry, that's most important. Item 2C, approve request from outside the box investors to purchase land bank property located at 521 DuPont Street. Ms. Jones?
So we're waiting on the paperwork, so we're gonna skip that one this meeting. We'll come back at a future meeting with that one.
Okay.
right side is green.
Okay, item 3, approve request from Veronica Jones, purchase property located to purchase land bank property located at 8006 Amarillo Circle, 7025 and 7035 Amarillo Circle. Mr. Edwards.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Ms. Jones, for 25, so Ms. Clark originally came to the office in order to ask our help in maintaining this residential mobile home zone block. There is still a structure, a partial structure that remains on it. And there was someone that was attempting to go inside of the structure. Her and her husband built right off of that easement access off Amarillo Circle to the rear. but they actually are in the mobile home rental business. And while in our office, our president said that he'd be willing to buy the lot so that he can maintain security of the mobile home that's behind his house. We went further into discussion, and they are now willing to purchase, as noted in the application, all of the mobile home lots that we own on the road circle. Negotiated pricing on those lots are worth, as you see, $15,000 each. They're willing to offer $10,000 for each of those 3 lots. Legal fees are in office as part of the deposit, and there was a concession that was requested on an application fee, which is the application admin for staff, not attorney's fee, on one of those lots. So we would be in a position to sell 3 lots, zone mobile homes that we're not going to develop. We would remove a potential issue with a squatter and a blighted structure, and we satisfy a code enforcement complaint because the neighbors are saying somebody trying to break in. So we are definitely recommending to the board acceptance of this application for the sale of 7025, 7035, and 8006 Palmer Road Circle. Total sales price is $38,800, and $8,800 have already been received as a deposit.
Discussion.
Yeah, I'm looking at the paper on it. Oh, so you look at the right.
Are there mobile homes on there now?
The piece of one that's sitting at 7025 that they want to secure, yes, the other 2 are completely there. The other 2 are completely there. And her property, just for reference, is the one at 7023.
Sean,
Sir.
where is Honorable Circle located? You just give me a.
This one back New Road.
Yeah.
This one back, this
Oh,
one
okay,
back New
okay,
Road.
I got you. Southwest, okay, south side. Okay.
So when you're looking at a ground up development or someone coming in to build a structure,
Yes.
you got some keys in your contract if they don't do it, say.
Yes, sir. So
Anything unique to mobile homes that we should be aware of?
I would.
Part 30 on this one, they're actually an adjacent lot owner, because they live behind these 3 lots. So there really is no, unless we negotiate an agreement, there's no, we don't have a requirement for them to do anything. They could just, they could just combine with their lots, they could, they have that right. It's always been our policy as an adjacent landowner not to require contract to deal with it.
But the other 2 are further west. Can you explain the breakdown of the fee structure we have now, and what was offered?
Again, noted for each parcel, city value has it at $15,000. They're offering 10 per lot. They are paying the full total of fees for one of those, application admin as well as attorney's fee. For one of those, they are paying the total of fees because it's only $1,400 based on when the lot was received. But if you would note, there is a waived application and admin fee for one of the properties. And that is because of the point of negotiation out of our office. So in trying to negotiate the sale of 3 when there was a desire for a cleanup of 1, I gave a concession. Or am offering a concession for.
I was just trying to jive that we had listed here as 10,000 total in legal fees.
These are probably properties that are required tax, so they require debarment title required.
Yeah, non-judicial sale properties, we charge that $6,000 for 500 for admin, 500 for application, and 6,000 to clear title. And if you note, 2 of those have clearing of title requirement, and then the other is one that did not come in as non-judicial. So normal closing is $1,400.
So when did the land bank come into possession of these?
21 or 22 on this.
I think 2 of them were 2021, and then I think 7035 and 7025 ordinance 10/5/2021, and then 8006 was 2022.
Were they donations or?
No, private land bank. I think it was
And the
a
tax-
non-VA land bank.
So the board, once again, 2022, made the decision that non-judicial acquisitions made at the October 5th, 2021 sale would all be required to utilize the land bank attorney to clear title and set a flat fee for title fees of $5,000.
Motion?
Motion to approve.
Have a second?
Second.
The motion has been made by Ms. Karen Gordon, seconded by Mr. Ryan Downs, to sell the property located at 8006, 7025, and 7035 Amarillo Circle, to Ms. Veronica Jones for a total of $30,000. What's the exact total, John? 30,800, 38,000.
800.
800.
Yes.
Dollars. All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposers, nay. Ayes have it. Approve request from Nicole Clark to purchase land bank parcels located at 1760 Watkins Street, 1733 Fenwick Street, and 644 Crawford Avenue. Mr. Edwards.
So this property was acquired at the time of the land bank being approved for Rescue Plan Act funds in partnership with Capital Rise, local builder and developer of multiple HDB projects that has also purchased property from us. And initially, we thought we were going to be able to have funding to renovate that quadruplex, in which case 1733 Fenwick would have been additional parking to complement that project. As noted when the builder/developer Capital Rise went to the planning commission, but additional parking would have been necessary as designated by the Board of Zoning Appeals for, I guess, overflow parking or guest parking, and we own the parcel at 1760. Funding did not come through as anticipated for the land bank to directly do that project, but we continue to work with Capital Rise on a contractual agreement with them, and then have met and introduced this project to Ms. Nicole Clark, who is here today. She's a developer of affordable housing in the area, has worked extensively at the Augusta Housing Authority, and sees an opportunity here to make an investment. Definitely want to give Ms. Clark an opportunity to speak a little bit about what she's doing in town.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Nicole Clark. I am the COO of Grace Home Havens. We've started a nonprofit that provides quality, affordable housing for all residents in Richland County. And so far, we've acquired about 7 properties in the area, and we have provided, this is our third, we have a third house now that we are providing quality homes for. 2 of our previous rentals were for designated residents that suffered displacement due to Hurricane Ellen. And we have one that was displaced due to the deconstruction of Dogwood Terrace. So that is the sector of residents that we serve and are committed to lifelong here in Richmond County. So when I came across this opportunity, I felt it was an amazing opportunity to continue that mission to provide affordable housing in a sustainable market for the community of Richmond County. So that is our mission.
You would note, thank you, Ms. Clark. You note in your pricing sheet that we are collecting fees for attorney's fees for all parcels, but we're doing a total sales price of the remaining balance of that contract because the 2 lots at Fenwick and at Watkins, they're necessary for parking. The project doesn't happen without it, and so we're making sure that that's continued to be a part. We always plan to use those to develop 644 if we're able to proceed, and so we knew we need to sell those. So staff is recommending to the board's approval of 1733 Fenwick, 1760 Watkins, and 644 Crawford for a total sales price of $186,400.
Questions, comments?
This will resolve the other issue in totality?
Yes.
Will there be anything left about in net?
Attorneys getting paid and partners getting paid, and we're from up under the top.
But it will fulfill it too?
Yeah.
Got a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second? Second motion. Motion has been made by Ms. Karen Gordon and properly seconded by Mr. Chris Johnson to sell the properties located at 1760 Watkins Street, 1733 Fenwick Street, and 644 Crawford Avenue to Miss Nicole Clark of Grace Homes Haven for a total price of $186,400. All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposers, nay. The ayes have it. Okay, now we're going to the update portion of our agenda. Mr. Manson, our attorney, update us on foreclosures and donations.
I think that information should be in the handout. See here towards the back. We had successful sale yesterday. We did 4 properties for the land bank that were requested projects from developers. So we had those in inventory. We'll be able to sell those in 60 days. We had 5 new foreclosures filed last month. So we're rocking along. We have Broad Street hearings coming up. So we should have 2110 Broad inventory soon. They're getting ready to file. So we have 5 more we're getting ready to file next week. So foreclosures are busy. Donations, nothing to update on donations.
Yes, sir.
John, would you say that it would be safe for the land bank during its Charter Bus tour during the conference to point out the Marion Homes lots we anticipate getting? Because it will be a part of that tour, and so I don't want to speak to inventory we don't have, but if you feel like, yeah, you can, okay.
So you can say,
Yeah.
these are the ones that the land bank are currently.
Yeah.
All right, any questions, comments about that? All right. Mr. Manton, do I need to have a motion to accept this as information?
You can just accept this information. No vote required.
Okay. We will accept that information for foreclosures and donations as information. Item B, 3B, review draft of the 501c3 bylaws. Mr. Edwards.
Thank you, sir. So I believe it was back in March that you received a copy of bylaws, first draft for the futurely established nonprofit for the land bank. Mr. Manton and I have talked about how it would operate, and I believe that I've answered his concerns from that perspective. But of course, we're still waiting to receive any questions, concerns, recommendations, or edits regarding the bylaws and structure of the organization. To Mrs. Delaney's recommendation regarding funding for the nonprofit back in March, the land bank would undergird the entity for a period of time to be determined by this board, and then inevitably that entity would need to be self-sufficient. We would make that determination prior to engaging in any kind of activities under the nonprofit. As noted in the bylaws, one of its primary purposes for existing is to make funding more available, applying for grants and being eligible for foundation support. But there may be some activities that legal will feel are better performed as the 501c versus the land bank itself. And those determinations will be made by this board as well.
All right, questions, comments about the domestic nonprofit corporation? And are we receiving this as information information, or are you expecting a vote?
Well, if there are no revisions or edits by the board, then we would be receiving it with a motion to allow the attorney to proceed with the process of establishing the nonprofit. If there are edits revisions, we will then take those edits revisions, make them and bring it back to the board in June.
Questions, comments, board?
Can we just ask the attorney any considerations the board should be making?
No, I think sort of the biggest concerns are, the goal of the nonprofit and to ensure that the establishment of nonprofit still is to further land bank purposes, make sure the checks and balances are on the nonprofit, also ensure that we are working with other local entities in Augusta to make sure we don't be in competition. We're not trying to be bidding against.
Do you see any risk to how the land bank currently receives funding and any of these changes would have interaction with the city or any of those?
Well, I think the goal of the city's always been, there's always been talks that the city's ever built a land bank, become self-sustained, self-sufficient, that they don't want to provide funds for the land bank anymore, so there's always that risk that funding will stop at any year.
But does this specifically change any of that?
Not that
This just opens up other avenues.
just opens up other avenues of trying to receive grants to provide housing for, low income, housing in Augusta, where there's a shortfall, as we all know. I think that's one of the goals of the nonprofit is low income housing.
You brought up, I guess, a good point, was ensuring that this is something that extends the purposes of the mission we have. And certainly, we want to make sure we're either continuing that mission just in a different avenue or differentiating yourself from the people that are doing similar things in the community. So we're not
Sure.
button heads with departments within the city will also.
Correct. We're going to be very clear that's not the intention of this. We'll not be bidding on any funds that are otherwise other folks are bidding on.
So I guess specific to the bylaws, the first thing I wanted to make sure we're clear on is what the expectation of board composition is in numbers, and then how are those board members identified and selected to serve?
Sean?
So, board structure is identified in Article 3 for the number of persons that can exist on the board. And the entity itself will serve at the privilege of this body. It will be a decision of these board members if they choose to be board members of both organizations or just oversight. But if it is preferred that there be in the bylaw a designation or appointment by sitting land bank board members, we can make that revision. At this point, you don't have an organization you're defining it from the beginning. So that would just be something we would get your clarity on. Would this board prefer to appoint members to the nonprofit? Would this board prefer to serve as the board of the nonprofit? Those are things that we can change at your discretion.
John, what do you recommend on that? Is there a conflict of interest there for board members serving in a voting capacity on that nonprofit board?
My recommendation would be at this time maybe to let us create what we envision this board to look like and how we'll operate with the land bank as a dual process and see if we can't come back to the board for a more concrete final vision what it's going to look like for approval.
So what we would
I
need.
know, I think I talked to Sean, I think, 4 or 5 other land banks in here we already have nonprofits. So maybe let us do a little research and see how they're all structured and we can come up with the best.
And a vote today would allow you to go and do that.
I think, just let us maybe move forward and put it all together, finalize it, and bring it back to the board for final approval.
Okay, motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion to approve, allowing land bank attorney John Madden to go back and take a look at the proper structure of the 501c3 domestic non-profit corporation on behalf of Augusta, Georgia Land Bank Authority. It's been made by Chris Johnson, properly seconded by Ms. Karen Gordon. All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposers, nay. The ayes have it.
Somehow you find me could involve color and any say involved.
So we're going to see the new director of that.
Okay, item 3C, review finance committee membership. Mr. Edwards.
Yes, sir. So as noted, by you at the top of the meeting, losing Mrs. Delane from the Land Bank Board, we also will be losing her from Finance Committee Board. And so we do need to replace that seat. We would request that any board member that wants to come to a second set of meetings volunteer. But from those who are present, we do need a recommendation and a second with an acceptance of recommendation for the replacement of Mrs. Delaney on the Finance Committee. I would remind board members that Finance Committee is extremely important for auditing purposes and transparency. So the commitment to the committee is important for staff.
And we usually have that meeting the hour before we have the board meeting. I'm going to put her on the spot. But certainly, if she is not available, then I will backfill. But I'm asking Ms. Gordon if she would consider being on the finance committee.
Sure.
I make a motion that Ms. Karen Gordon replace Ms. Carter Delaney as the third member on the finance committee. Motion has been made by Chris Johnson and properly seconded by Mr. Ryan Downs to have Ms. Karen Gordon replace Ms. Carter Delaney as the third member on the finance committee. All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposers, nay. Ayes have it. And even though it says F, yeah. Item F, which comes before D and E, review the Land Bank Board officers. It's that time for us to redo the officer. Right currently, you have 4 officers. You have the chairman of the board, which is yours truly. You have the vice chair, which is Mr. Scott Roundtree. And we voted some time ago to have the other 2 positions, which are the treasurer and the secretary. The treasurer to be handled by the staff of the land bank, which is Ms. Jones and Mr. Edwards. And then the secretary would be handled by the coordinator, or Ms. Jones would handle those secretarial duties, which is what happens right now. So I'm going to start with those last 2 first. Do we want to continue with the staff serving as the treasurer and, of course, Ms. Jones serving as the secretary?
Yes.
Motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Carla Delaney and a second by Mr. Scott Roundtree to have the staff continue to serve as the treasurer of the Land Bank Authority and to have Ms. Jones serve as the secretary of the Land Bank Authority. All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposers, nay. The ayes have it. Okay, do we have a motion, or do we have a recommendation for chair?
Nominate Chris Johnson.
Okay, the motion has been made by Mr. Scott Roundtree and seconded by Mr. Ryan Downs, and I will be voting to have Mr. Chris Johnson remain as the chair of the Augusta Georgia Land Bank. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
And I abstain. Motion for the vice chair.
Scott Roundtree.
I'll second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Ryan Downs and seconded by Ms. Carla Delaney to have Mr. Scott Roundtree remain as the vice chair of the Land Bank Authority. All in favor, aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. has changed. Amen. Now we go to item D. Review meeting dates and times. Mr. Edwards.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. So we changed from a previous meeting time to the first Wednesday of every month out of consideration for Pastor Heron. His schedule never allowed for him to be present. Unfortunately, he's no longer on the board, and therefore we want to give the opportunity to our existing board members to give consideration to this date and time for our meetings. If this continues to work, then of course finance will be the hour before. But if we need to make a change to be more accommodating, we want to just bring that before the board since we've now finalized our new positions.
So up until 2 years ago, 3 years ago,
With the change going, the first one, we changed it in 21.
21, 4 years ago, time passed. It was always the third Wednesday at 2 p.m. The original board, and John can tell us more about that than anybody else, but that's what they established as the meeting time. And then, of course, they had the first Wednesday at the same time, 2 p.m., for any discussion or overflow items in the past. As Sean pointed out, then board member Dr. Mike Heron, his schedule changed, and to accommodate that, we changed it to the first Wednesday at 2 p.m. Now the board, you just want to, see if the board wants to keep the time, the schedule as is, the first Wednesday at 2 p.m. Or do we want to make an alternate date, day change as well as time change? What works better?
Charlie, you don't have to say. It's okay with me.
I've got more travel at the back half of the month. Which sounds better.
Okay, sounds like we're gonna keep this. All right, and lastly, Mr. Edwards, if you will update us on the very, very soon upcoming 2025 land development conference.
Just a quick update for the board. So starting on the morning of Tuesday, May 20th, registration will open for attendees. Our numbers are currently 140, 150 registered attendees at this time. That includes some invited guests from political leadership and community, but we anticipate a few more registrations. We continue to be contacted to make sure registration remains open. We will have to cut that off for our caterer very soon, but we're trying to get as many people there as we can. As you know, we're again at Augusta Tech. They've been a gracious host. We will be speaking with their current president very soon to see how she wants to address the attendees at the school. I had the opportunity to speak with her recently and they'll do a follow-up. But we've got exciting things happening this year. We continue to try to bring new offerings. So not only are we bringing back the Charter Plus Tour, which will include a huge visit to the downtown urban core, but we will be having a conversation with leadership over at the Georgia Cyber Center for Innovation. They'll be talking to our attendees about what cyber means in the community and opportunities for them for investment. They will be addressed by the new president, Ms. Angie Cox of the Chamber of Commerce, to talk about opportunities for partnership there. But then also we'll be taking a tour of K-Mill and Sibley Mill with Mr. Wayne Millar to talk about his project there and its impact really on all of Harrisburg and in partnership with the Crop Center. So some exciting stuff that we haven't done before. Of course, all of the networking presentations are going to be great. We've got a special conversation that will also be held with Wayne Millar. That's going to be a fireside chat on Thursday. So we're encouraging board members definitely to come out. It's always good to see you at the event we host, but it's always good for attendees of these types of things to see that our board is supporting. If you can't make the daytime presentations, each evening has an event, and of course, we'd love to see you there as well so we can make introductions with folks that want to do business with the land bank.
It's also an opportunity for the seen, numbers, whether it be, apartment complexes, housing, manufacturing, because all of those things will be a part of the tour, making sure that they understand, what Augusta's business looks like, what its housing needs are, and who are the people who would actually support those housing needs. I think, all of you are aware that in Augusta, we have a 65% leakage, which is to say that we have 65% of the people who live in Richmond County or work in Richmond County actually leave, take those dollars that they earn here and go other places. And we believe that part of that is because of availability. And so certainly we are trying to introduce our investors to opportunities for investing in this community so that we can change that leakage out. So we think that we got a good conference this year. Mr. Edwards and Ms. Jones and other members of the staff have done an excellent job. They've done a lot of work. We were supposed to have had this back in October. That was always our time frame. But Hurricane Helene had other plans for us. But we have been able to recover from that. And so it's just 2 weeks now. We'll actually, at this time in 2 weeks, we'll actually be part of the conference. Please, ma'am, please, sir, if you have not registered, it's an opportunity to do so. And again, for members, it's an opportunity to come out and see what's going on.
Do you have the agenda available? I know I'll be out of town for most of it, but I want to see.
Yes, sir, we can make sure we get it to you when registrants go to our website. When they choose to register, it takes them over to the Hula app, and everything is inside of that application, but we'll make sure we get you a copy of the schedule.
I have a question about the conference. How will this year be different from last year?
The biggest ones are going to be the discussion points. We're coming out of Hurricane Helene, as everyone knows, and that has changed what development looks like a little bit. There's a greater emphasis on South Augusta because there is still some considerable levels of damage in the urban core, but then also just the likelihood of future events like that. When you look at some of the density, when you look at the age of the infrastructure, and we look at the probability of potential insurance costs, some smaller investors are starting to think about lots that have less coverage, and looking at different areas of town. Another thing that's been a consideration, or at least in some discussions with some of our investors, is travel time. South Augusta is prime for development, potential larger lots, potential larger homes, and with the amount of money being spent, which will be a talking point on the bus, but the investment at the corporate park, development investment of Solvay, other industry off of Tobacco Road, some manufacturing is really creating presence in South Augusta. And so that's going to shift how some of our agenda items are presented to this board for approval. We're going to be looking at folks that want to feel going that way, because that's what we're for. We are in discussion right now with City Transit and Nostalgia's Department about what that change might look like, so that they can be more accommodating for folks that are in the rural part of the county. So before we showcase everything the land bank was, now we're starting to be very responsive to the request for investment.
And we have the EDA who's providing information about those who work in our county and the type of dollars that they make, thus generating the need for different types of houses. Also, Housing Authority has provided information to us about things going on there, which are, because there's a need for housing at every level, from voucher all the way through supermarket. And so we get a chance to do that. And remember what the mission of the land bank is. Always remember that the land bank's mission is to take vacant, abandoned, dilapidated, underutilized property and get them back into what the state calls a tax generator or revenue generating or tax generating state. And so by showing these investors what's available, we have the opportunity to hopefully sell property and get tax generating. And I'm sure that the mayor and the board of commissioners will appreciate and the board of education will appreciate any additional tax dollars that we can send their way. That's how this conference ties into what we
you had me at something.
All right, did I miss anything? Since, I've tried to be as timely as possible, Mr. Lane, I wanted to make sure that I give you an opportunity to have any comments that you may want to have. But even if you don't, get my hood before I go.
Well, I've been working with the land bank for 10 years, actually. So, it's nice to actually be on the board and help make some of the decisions. So I'm excited about the work and future of the land bank. It needs to be supported, it needs to be funded better, I want to say that. It needs to be properly staffed too, so, I'm hopeful that you guys get what you need and that, people who use you as an avenue to accomplish a lot of Augusta's development and growth, understand your value. It matters. And so, I thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. And, that's it.
All right, we don't have anything else.